Okay.
All right, you're showing that everybody's here. I got 4 people here.
Yep.
All right, today's speech is about active shooter situations and your response to these type of situations. The objectives of this speech today is to define the term active shooter, list measures that can be employed to reduce the effectiveness of an active shooter, and describe actions that can be expected from responding law enforcement officers. The definition of an active shooter, which was taken from Homeland Security website, is an active shooter is an individual actively engaging in killing or attempting to kill persons. Here are some statistics on how the chances of workplace violence are greater than ever before. The following statistics are taken from the Justice Department's Bureau of Statistics. All right. Over 2 million Americans are victims of assault. More than 1,000 are killed. Workplace homicides account for 1 out of 6 fatal occupational injuries. Firearms were used to commit more than 80% of all workplace homicides. 20% of these of the rest were results of bombings, stabbings, or beatings. 10% were committed by victims' coworkers or angry customers, which we all know we have plenty of those here. And 5% were committed by personal acquaintances, which please don't be another 5%. Here are some types of events that can trigger these violent actions. Separation or divorce, job loss, health problems, substance abuse, financial problems, problems in any area that begins to threaten their sense of self-control. The following things to remember during your response to an active shooter event. One thing you have to remember is your actions will influence others. We're all in management, so we have to remember that. You need to stay calm. Contact 911 emergency responders, even if you think security has done it or whoever. When you do, let them know your specific location, because we'll probably be spread throughout property if that was to happen. Number of people at your specific location, and number or types of injuries, and then try to help the injured as much as you can with whatever knowledge you have. And the dispatcher may help you through that. Also provide information if you know where the assailant is. If we have our radios on, switch it to security right away. We'll use surveillance to help us track where that's. We're in an advantage here compared to most places. Secure the immediate area where you're at, whether it's a closet, bathroom, or office. If you're with other people, usher them around to safe locations, the closet, inner stairwells, or exit the facility if possible. Lock the door. This may provide some protection. Luckily, we have all metal doors here, so that helps us also. If you cannot lock the door, block it with desk, filing cabinets, other furniture. Once again, luckily, we have a lot of heavy desks and stuff. Block yourself in. If the shooter enters your room and leaves, lock and barricade the door behind him if you're able to. Also, attempt to block windows, turn off music, computer monitors, definitely silence your cell phone. If we can, place an exterior sign if you have an outer window saying, for help, calling for help. Keep everybody calm and quiet, and basically just keep them behind large inanimate objects. Before unsecuring an area, remember the following tips. The shooter will not stop until his objectives have been met unless engaged by law enforcement. Consider the risk exposure created by opening the door. One of the things they'll do is they'll try to bang on the door, act like a victim to get in if they know you're in there. If there's any doubt whatsoever of the safety of the individuals inside the room, just keep the area secured until you're told to do by law enforcement. There's several things you should expect when law enforcement arrives. Officers that are responding to an active shooter if there's somebody injured, they're going to run right over the top of them. They're there to stop the threat and worry about the wounded later. Also, they'll be dressed in regular clothing, have Kevlar, combat gear on, if they're SWAT. So notice that they're just not all going to be uniformed people, so kind of keep your eye out for that. Make sure you look at the badge, because they should all have Kevlar on when they're coming in. Obviously, we know who the DCI people are. Regardless of how they appear, remain calm, do as the officer tells you, and do not be afraid of them, but be suspicious until they show you who they are. Put down any bags, packages, anything you have in your hands. Keep your hands visible at all times because they're not sure who's who. First officer to arrive, again, will not stop to aid victims. They will come back later with, when areas are secured, they'll come back later with EMS and start going through that way. What to do and when to know when it's time to evacuate the area. Safe corridors will be established. This may be time consuming, so remain in secured areas until instructed otherwise. You very well may be instructed to keep your hands on your head because law enforcement is still not 100% sure who is involved in the situation. You may be searched, and finally you'll be escorted out of the building and herded into an area where you will have to stay for further debriefing, so don't just think you can leave. In closing, remember that you cannot predict when and where an active shooter event will take place, but if you follow the simple rules mentioned in this speech, you will increase you as well as other people's chances of survival.